Hey guys, welcome to today's video. It's kind of an exciting video for me because Rephr reached out to me. Let me go back a little bit. A couple of months ago, Rephr reached out to me on Instagram. They had seen the video that I did maybe 3 months ago talking about my new eyeshadow brushes and how I was using them and what I thought of them, and I just love them. It was a Ray Morris brush, a couple of Chikahotos, some Hakahotos, and some my Kitkos. And they said that they would love to send me a couple of brushes to see what my thoughts might be. And I've been playing with them for a little while. I didn't want it to be like, hi, I got these, let's put them to the test. I wanted to see which ones I pulled to the most, how they work for me, and here they are. So rather than just talk you through everything, I think I'm going to do a couple of looks. And I'm going to the Natasha Denona palette, Retro. It looks like this. I did a video on it, and I have to say, you guys, very quickly that I was using my really big magnified mirror right here that has the gooseneck, and then I have a mirror over here about 3 feet away, and I would look at that and say, yeah, it looks great. But I wasn't using this mirror, which is what I usually use, and when I was editing it, I realized I really wanted the looks to go a little bit higher and a little bit less low, especially on this side, and I just didn't see it because I wasn't using this mirror. Again, this is about forest from the trees, to see things at different levels, a regular mirror, a close-up mirror, a magnifying mirror, and I just missed that mid-range that helped me to see, because from here I'm like, yeah, it's fine, but it wasn't. So I'm giving this another go because I do love it. And I think you can get beautiful looks out of it, and I don't think I did it justice. Let's go. Rephr brushes are made in Japan, and they are natural goat hair. It's a very interesting line to me because they're not produced by makeup artists, and my understanding is the owners of this company are not makeup artists, but rather crowdsourced. So they have, and you guys, I don't know, they didn't give me the information, I didn't ask for the information, this is the information I gleaned. They release things at a lower price so long as you commit to giving them feedback. I think the disadvantages of something like that is the people who are giving them feedback are not professional makeup artists. They're people on social media who may have bad habits. That's a good way of saying it, right? They may be used to something because they haven't tried something else. Where makeup artists have tried a lot of different things and they know what they need because they do makeup on a lot of different eyes. So that's what I understand. Then they make adjustments, they change things, and then they release it at the regular price. The price seems to be kind of on par with the black line on Hakahoto, the lesser expensive line on Hakahoto, and MAC. It's my understanding that Hakahoto makes MAC brushes, so that's the level that we're talking about to me. I wanted to first take a look at 01 because that is the brush that we are going to pretty much be using. So the 01 is a pinched ferrule and kind of flares out, and it is a very basic, common, useful brush. I believe it's probably based off of this, the MAC 217. Pinched ferrule, very, very, very similar. Kind of a dupe. And Wayne Goss makes something like that as well. This is the 18. The Wayne Goss might be a little bit bigger, but probably not. It's probably just a little fluffier because of washing or whatnot. The thing is, MAC does not make these in goat hair anymore. They're only synthetic. This one is a goat hair. And it's an incredibly useful brush, as is the Rephr one. Lisa Eldridge was the makeup artist of choice. She still is for me. I adore her, and I bought my first brushes based on her because when I started getting back into makeup, I found I had a ton of the same kind of brush by different brands, but I didn't have anything like this. You know, it's what people sell you, you know what I mean? When you don't know, there wasn't the internet, you were just going on books, really. And books didn't really talk about brushes that much. My collection was a little strange And Lisa used this kind of brush, the MAC 217, in every video. So this is the Rephr 01, and I think I could probably do a whole look with just this. And I did when I had the 217. I used it pretty much for everything. I'm going to start with Nude Mauve. And today I'm just going back to this mirror because it's easier, really, because I forgot. All these brushes I spot cleaned. I have washed them a couple of times. And I'm just putting this color all over the lid, and I'm bringing it higher so you can see it, and that helps to give me a little bit of shade. Also, I haven't primed my eyes for this. I am going to take this off and do another look, and I will prime my eyes for that because there will be redness on my eyes. Oh, you guys, I think I went into the wrong shade. I might have gone into Helio. I did. I went into Helio for both of them. My bad. Okay, so this is what Helio looks like all over the lid, and this is Helio. And this is what I went in with this one, but I think when I dip back in with Helio. Helio. That's hysterical. Rebellion, same brush. And just kind of get that into the crease area. I want it to be seen a little bit when the eye is open. And just pull down the teeniest bit, a little dusting on the outer edge. Voila, and that could be it as well, but I'm going to go a little bit higher. So I'm just going to wipe this off. I have a towel right here. And I'm going to go into Andy. The options in this palette are something that's almost white or Andy, or you could mix them together. So you know what? I'm just going to dip into that white afterwards. And just kind of diffuse. Not that it really needs diffusing, and I think that white was not a matte. Now to me, I have to say, a couple of people said, why don't you bring everything up higher? Because to me, this is a very big look. It's very big, and it's outside my comfort zone. Maybe something for evening, but we're going to go with it. I am going to put on my brows and put on my mascara, put on some face makeup, and we're just going to show a final look for this. And I think I'm going to clean up a little bit with some concealer right through here. I think this one feels like it's a little too low, and we'll be right back. Voila! I will list below everything that I put on my face. I haven't powdered, I'm a little bit shiny. But this is a very easy look with 3 colors and 1 brush. Now the next look I'm going to use the other brushes. In fact, I could right now go into some of these. Let's just talk about what we have here. We have 3 very similar shapes right here. These are round ferrules, and they all go into a point, right? This is the thickest one. This would be great for me. I have used this ideally in my last video with the Denona. I thought, oh, I need to add right here to get that perfect thing that matched on this side, and I found that my Kitco brush that I love and I use all the time wasn't as precise as I needed it to be. The tip is better for me on the Rephr, and that is the 2.6. And thank you so much to Rephr for actually writing these big enough for me to see them. That's a miracle. Then there's 2 smaller ones. These are really good for lining very precisely. You could take this one out for smudging, or you could, well, let's play a little bit more. So this is the first look, but let's just play a little bit more with this look before we go on. I want to try something that I saw Lisa Eldridge do on a video ages and ages ago, where I think it was wedding makeup, and it was an Indian wedding, and apparently they're quite long. They go on for days, and she did 2 makeup looks. And one of the things she did was a NARS palette that's no longer being made, and then she took glitter and copper right at the lash line, like a liner. She wanted it to be kind of a peekaboo shimmer that came through the lashes. So I'm not doing glitter, but I am going to take this, and I'm going to go with this shade right here, which is a duochrome, I think, and then I'm going to spray it and do it right by the lash line. So this is a little bit more big than I wanted it to be. So the other brush would have been better. But this is just a great brush for detail work. So that was the 03 brush, and the 23 brush, the smallest one with this formation, probably would have been better, but we're going to use this in the next look. So there you go, a little bit about shapes. Now let's talk about what else we have here shape-wise. We have a flat. This is for the same kind of thing that I just did, except we'll just lay into it. I mean, it's obvious, right? I kind of don't want to ruin this, even though I'm about to take it off, but you know what it is. This is something that you just pack down with. There's 2 more brushes like that where the ferrules are pinched. You can see these sizes are very similar. This is 28 and this is 02. The 28 is thinner, narrower, and I like this for the shape of my eyes. So if you have smaller eyes and you want to do something and this is just a little too much, you can go in with this. You could work it like this too. A couple of things you can do. So there's 3 flat brushes they sent me. This one is synthetic. These are natural. They say synthetics are better for picking up more glittery, metallic kinds of shades. Totally your preference. And these 2 brushes are very similar. Round ferrules. One is larger than the other. And again, I have brushes similar to this from Wayne Goss and from MAC. MAC 221, Wayne Goss 20. You can see the MAC is much taller. Rephr 13 and Rephr 14. So the Rephr 14 looks very, very similar to the MAC, and interestingly enough, the Rephr 13 looks very, very similar to the Wayne Goss. And these kinds of brushes are great for just, for instance, if you want to do a little bit of darkening right here, let's go in with it and be so specific about where you're putting something. And or you have very small eyes, this is the kind of brush you want to use. Look 1 with a couple of brushes. I'm going to take this off and we're going to do another look using the other brushes. I'm back. I've taken off everything but my mascara, and then I went in with the Clé de Peau concealer on my eyes and powdered it. This is the best eye primer ever, even though that's not what it is. I'm going to go in with 02, and I'm going back into this one, Vintage Mauve, I think it's called. Lately I have been using this brush from Westman Atelier because it's just perfect size for laying down. So I thought I would try the 02 and see how that works. And I'm just going to lay down on the lid. I know most people use flat brushes for metallic, shimmers, glimmers, whatever, but there's no rule that you can't use them except for the second swipe, not so good. On this one, it was fine. I feel like, okay, this does not replace the Westman Atelier. You can work it, but it takes a minute to do it. I am going to go back in with the 01 because I want to bring this color higher. So I'm just going to go into that. And I'm just taking it all the way with whatever's left because it's not much. But that's helping me out. We can fix it up. I'm going in with the dark taupey color apart. And just going to start very gently. Then wipe off whatever's left, and I'm just going to go back and forth because I don't like the way this looks like a line. I kind of want to diffuse it a little bit without pulling it all over the place, which is hard to do. Going in with 03 and the same color and do a little bit work around the lash line. And yeah, again, I feel like probably should have gone in with a smaller one. 23. There we go. Now I normally don't like to do much under the eye. I feel like it closes it up. And I did not re-dip here because, again, I'm kind of afraid. So I just re-dipped and I'm taking some off on my hand. Okay, next up. Now I got a little bit too much of a little wing shape. This is the shape that I do, but I've had a couple of requests that I don't do it. It's just that I kind of don't have any choice. If I don't pull out like this, then my eye's just going to look like a round button, which is not my preference. But I am going to mellow it out a little bit with this brush, especially at the end, so it doesn't look too wingy. Now, to me, when I do color all the way up, it looks big, it looks heavy. I don't mind the look, but I just feel like it's way too much for daytime. That's just me, you guys. But I do want to go in and lighten up a little bit, and I'm going to do that with the 3. I know a lot of people out there use one of these flat brushes for right in here. I don't know why, because I'd rather diffuse it maybe. I'd rather go in with this. So I am going to pick up this one, and that's Maud, M-O-D, as opposed to M-A-U-D-E. And I'm going to mix it with Nude Mauve. Yeah, I need a little bit more of that light color. I'm not sure I'm getting the effect I want. I think that was just a little bit too dark. So like this side looks better. What do you do when something like that happens, you guys? Don't be afraid to take off. I like this side better, so I'm going to take off something like this to me. Boop. Perfect. I love these brushes. I never use them for eyeshadow, which is what they're made for, but I love them. And take down on this side. And suddenly the shape seems a little better to me. And that is my second look from the Natasha Denona Retro palette. And I love it. So what do I think about these brushes? Well, let me tell you, I think they're perfectly fine. I think they're perfectly in the right price range when I compare them, as I said, to the less expensive line from Hakuhodo or MAC, except MAC is not natural and these are. And natural fibers just pick things up differently. They diffuse better. I prefer them. So this, it's like the 217, we've already gone over it, it's fine. Then we have the 2 round ones. Again, like the brushes that I mentioned, they're absolutely fine, they're on par. The flat brushes, I think I just lost the 2 flat brushes. Perfectly fine, not going to replace this, so the flat brushes will be lay down brushes again for shimmers for me from eye shape over mattes. And then these, I think, for me, these are probably the most useful. This one I didn't use, but I told you how I do use it. I really like these for hooded eyes or small eyes. If you don't have these already, then fine. But these to me strike me as quite unique. And let's just do a little blendy. I mean, you can blend very specifically, which is something I like to do. And you can apply very specifically. So for me, I think those are probably the most useful brushes. And I think that's it, you guys. More looks from Natasha Denona, reviewing these Rephr brushes for crepey eyes, older eyes, smaller eyes, hooded eyes, and I want to thank Rephr so much for sending these out to me and letting me experience them and test them and share with you what my thoughts are, and I think they're perfectly lovely and very useful. It's just that some are things that you might already have. And you guys, that's going to wrap it up for me today. I want to thank you so much for spending some time with me. I hope it was helpful to you, and I hope you come back again. Until we meet again, be safe, be smart, and I'm wishing you good health.